I highly recommend Olaplex, even though these Monat huns out here are advising against Olaplex. Well, that didn't age well. Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sam. If you are not new, thank you so much for coming back. As always, I appreciate you more than words can say. So as we saw from the clip, I was highly recommending Olaplex just a few weeks ago, and then this lawsuit came out. And today I sit here questioning my decision to start using Olaplex. So we're going to be deep diving into the lawsuit. We're going to be comparing a little bit to the Monat lawsuits, if we should continue to use Olaplex, and what the f is going on with all of this. This is Future Sam, and I am so irritated. I had about 5 more minutes of recording left when my whole entire audio deleted. So for most of this video, I will be having to use the camera audio. My apologies. It's going to be garbage. I am so sorry and I am so frustrated. Now, before we really get into all of the nitty-gritty, dirty details, I do want to give you a little disclaimer. I am in no way an expert of the law. I am not an attorney. I do not claim to be an attorney. I am just reading the facts with you and then sharing my opinions throughout. So with that said, let's get into it. Okay, so first thing I want to do is just comb through the lawsuit itself. So I was able to get a copy of the original filing, which was filed on February 9th of 2023. Of course, I'm not going to go through all 61 pages of this lawsuit with you, but I did already go through it and highlight what we are going to discuss today and really sink our teeth in and figure out what the f is going on with Olaplex. So here we go. So like I said, the original filing was filed on February 9th, 2023, and this was filed in California. Now, there are 28 plaintiffs on this lawsuit. I'm going to be comparing this a lot to Monat's lawsuits and kind of just going back and forth between the two. For a little bit of background, if you're not familiar, Monat is a MLM company that claims to help hair grow and help with scalp health and all of those great claims. And they have been sued a number of times for the same things that Olaplex is being sued for. It's pretty interesting to see. Now, in this lawsuit, there are a total of 28 plaintiffs listed. In comparison to what happened to Monat, I find this to be a small amount of people. When I first started looking into this whole lawsuit, when I first heard about it, I was like,
that's such crap. I love Olaplex. It does great things. There's no way this can be true. I'm gonna deep dive it on my channel and debunk everything.
Those are no longer my feelings. So we'll get into this a little bit more, but because of the fact that there was 28 women and not the number of people that were affected by Monat, which is in the hundreds and thousands, I immediately thought it was crap until I started digging into it, and I'm actually kind of embarrassed at this point. Those were my initial thoughts when I saw what the lawsuit was. So the plaintiffs are going up against Olaplex Holdings, which is Olaplex, and Cosway Co. Incorporated. So Cosway is the manufacturing company that Olaplex goes through. They're also based in California. So under the nature of the action, it states that plaintiffs have sustained personal and economic injury in connection with and as a result of their purchase and use of Olaplex hair care products. And then it lists off all of the Olaplex products that they have used, which are all of them. So it continues on to say, by this action, plaintiffs seek redress for their personal injuries, primarily to their hair and scalp. Plaintiffs also seek redress for and to stop defendants' unfair, false, and deceptive advertising and marketing of the products. I did grab 2 separate Monat lawsuits to kind of compare them both. And in the McWhortor and McWhortor versus Monat Global Corp, they were also suing for false advertising and also suffering from hair loss and scalp injury. In the Stefforia versus Monat Global Corporation, they were also suing for false advertising as well as scalp irritation and hair loss. So all three of these lawsuits, the two Monat lawsuits and the Olaplex lawsuit, have been filed on the same grounds. So I found that to be pretty interesting, especially with even myself. Like, I am fully guilty of this and I feel gross about it. But I found it to be interesting because everybody who talks about Olaplex and that likes Olaplex, that hasn't had a bad experience, swears that it's miles better than Monat, and it is like the holy grail of hair care and nothing compares to it. So I'm skipping to page 8 in the factual background under number 38. It says, when it comes to beauty products sold in the US, there is an absence of regulations setting standards for the use of formaldehyde and similar allergens, and the US Food and Drug Administration has little authority. The law does not require cosmetic companies to share formula testing or adverse event information with the FDA before or after the product is placed on the market. Consumers have no choice but to depend on the product makers and sellers to honestly represent their products. So that's terrifying that that is even a thing. This really doesn't have anything to do with the actual lawsuit, but the simple fact that the products that we are using don't have to go through any kind of FDA approval process. I feel like with all of these lawsuits that come up every day on different skincare and beauty products, there should be some type of something in place in the FDA to avoid this happening anymore in the future. As far as false claims go, the false claims that they are being accused of are: 1, restore damaged and compromised hair; 2, create healthy, beautiful, shiny, touchable hair; 3, are scientifically proven and proven by science; 4, strong, healthy looking, more resilient hair; 5, provide the ultimate breakage insurance; and 6, do not contain harsh or harmful chemicals such as silicone, sulfates, phthalates, DEA, aldehydes, formaldehyde, gluten, parabens, and are safe for all hair. By reporting these claims over and over on its website and social media pages and sponsored placement ads online and magazines, defendants bank on the psychological concept known as the quote-unquote illusion of truth. The more you repeat a claim, the more likely your audience is to believe it's true. In fact, the products are none of these things. After further investigation, I have to agree with that. It goes on to say, under the false claims about the products, multiple varieties of the products, including number 3, contain or have until recently contained lilial, an ingredient that, according to recorded Instagram video featuring Lavinia Popescu, Olaplex chief scientist, Olaplex knew to be a sensitizer and allergen. Many more of the products contain panthenol and other ingredients known for some time by the beauty industry to be allergens and irritants. These sorts of ingredients lead to allergic contact dermatitis and resulting hair loss and scalp injury. They're saying here that they continued to use ingredients for longer than they were supposed to that cause the skin irritation. So that would be the lilial and the panthenol, along with other ones. Something else that I want to touch on, if you're not familiar with Olaplex, they mentioned number 3 right here. Olaplex doesn't have shampoo, conditioner, it's all numbers. So they have numbers 0 through 9. Numbers 4 and 5 are usually the most common that you'll hear about because those are the shampoo and conditioner. So this section goes on to say Olaplex's use of lilial has even more serious implications. Olaplex sells the products worldwide. In 2020, the European Union Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety, SCCS, which is so much easier to say, demanded lilial be phased out of use in hair and beauty products by March of 2022. Our review of archived websites shows that Sephora removed lilial from the number 3 ingredient list in approximately June of 2021. This indicates that as early as 2020 or early 2021, Sephora required Olaplex to remove lilial in those products sold to Sephora. Nevertheless, according to its own public statements, Olaplex did not remove the ingredient more generally in products sold in the US. And Europe until February of 2022. So they only took it out of the products that were being sold in Sephora. In my opinion, that makes me wonder if it really was taken out of the products sold in Sephora or if they just took it off of the ingredient list. If all of the other products still had it in it for almost a whole nother year, how can we trust that those products didn't have it in it? So as far as harmful chemicals and things of that nature, they go on to say, by way of another example, many varieties of the products contain sodium benzoate. Benzoate? We all know I can't pronounce words. I'm still getting it from the oh my god. I'm still getting it from the Optavia people. So, yeah. You can see how it's spelled right here when I put it up here. So if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. By way of another example, many varieties of products contain sodium benzoate and ascorbic and or citric acid. These chemicals combine to create the molecule benzene. Benzene is a known carcinogenic. In other words, it causes cancer. The ingredient is so dangerous that the beauty industry has stopped using the ingredient and voluntarily recalled hair care products containing benzene. Olaplex has not. And I will put proof of that because I have number 5 right here. Bottle's almost gone and it has both of those ingredients in it. What the Well, now I'm paranoid. I laugh because I am scared. And yet another example of a design defect, the products contain non-water soluble substances that consumers are directed or encouraged to leave in the hair for extended periods. Users develop clogged, inflamed, impacted, and infected hair follicles. In other words, seborrheic dermatitis, SD, characterized by red, itchy, inflamed, blistered, flaking, or scaling skin, as well as hair loss. So they're stating that the victims in this case experienced clogged hair follicles that can obviously lead to hair loss. So moving on to number 55 in the filing, it states defendants, which is Olaplex at this point, defendants' instructions for use of the products exacerbate these injuries. Defendants direct and or encourage consumers to leave the products in their hair for long periods of time or indefinitely. For instance, defendants tell customers that number 3, the best seller and cornerstone of the products, reaches its max efficacy at 30 to 45 minutes. However, Olaplex is actively working in the hair as long as the hair remains moist. Why that word? Can we not use that word? In the frequently asked questions section of the Olaplex website, defendants go even farther. Quote, "We have received great feedback from people who have slept in Olaplex treatment." Defendants coyly hedge a bit on this, explaining, "As a company, we do not recommend sleeping in Olaplex treatments, but only because it could get into your eyes." Defendants never warn that the longer a consumer's exposure to problematic ingredients in the products, the greater the risk of SD, ACD, or damaging effects of plasticizing agents. That can be really, really confusing. I actually found a TikTok that I'm going to play for you so that you kind of understand what they're saying when they just said all of that jargon.
Let's talk about why I hate Olaplex. I feel like this, if it gets seen, it might stir some people up because the freaking chokehold that Olaplex has on people is nuts. So, Olaplex is not a protein treatment. I thought that for a long time, and I thought that that's why it caused breakage. It's not. After doing further research, I still hate it, but for a different reason, and I still believe that it can cause more harm than good. So what Olaplex is specifically formulated to do basically is to go into the hair and repair disulfide bonds that are broken during bleaching, relaxing, perming hair, just any kind of damage like that, anything that can break disulfide bonds in your hair. It is supposed to go in and repair them. Now, whether or not I believe that it actually has the capabilities of doing that, that's a whole nother story. But here's the thing. So the reason why I totally hate it is because it's so misused, and hairstylists don't educate people on how to use it properly. So here's how it works. Basically, whenever you're going in and repairing these disulfide bonds, if you keep doing that over and over again and your hair doesn't have a lot of disulfide bonds broken, all you're doing is adding a coating to the hair, and after a while that coating is going to weigh your hair down and cause it to feel brittle and dry, and then in turn you're going to cause breakage because your hair can't handle all of that weight on it. Another thing is that number 4 and 5 have dimethicone in them. So what dimethicone does is basically creates this layer on top of the hair and coats it and weighs it down so that it's going to look super shiny and healthy and repaired. But all you're doing is putting a band-aid on the hair. So in turn, whenever you stop using Olaplex, your hair's going to be the exact same, because all you're doing is putting a coating over all that damage to make it look better. Essentially, you're putting a wig on, basically, is what I'm saying. No, but seriously, Olaplex is severely misused, and if you're going to use Olaplex, you need to switch out those products. If you need strength in your hair, okay, use it for a few shampoos. After about 2 or 3 shampoos, use something else. You need to use something clarifying to get all that dimethicone and all that buildup off the hair that Olaplex creates. If you feel like it's helping you, by all means, use it, but don't overuse it, because you will do way more damage to your hair than repairing. Also, once your hair is damaged, there's no repairing that. You can't fix this. You can only fix this. You can only fix new growth. You can't reform old damaged hair. Anyways, that's the tea. Let me know if y'all have questions.
She did a really good job explaining like exactly how products work, how Olaplex works, and like I have referred to in my Monat videos, you cannot repair already damaged hair. I'm so glad that I found that, because it did really do a great job of explaining the jargon I just went over in the lawsuit. Now that we have that knowledge, let's continue on with this mess. It's just a mess. So under the false, misleading, and unconscionable business practices, they state that defendants claim the products enjoy wild popularity and celebrity endorsement. The Olaplex website names celebrities it claims use and endorse the products, and use celebrity photos as part of its marketing. On information and belief, many of these celebrities do not regularly use the products, do not sponsor or endorse the products, and are in fact unaffiliated with the products or defendants in any way. Those celebrities who have used the products have done so once or twice or sporadically, primarily because defendants offer the products to them for free or based on some other incentive. They also say that defendants reinforce these surreptitious celebrity endorsements with transformation pictures showing before and after photos on their website that purport to demonstrate how the average person can attain celebrity hair as their own. However, these quote average people are actually paid models who do not regularly use the products as recommended by defendants, and unbeknownst to the consumers, plaintiffs in particular, the posted pictures show hair that has been styled by a professional. They continue to say, in that same vein, defendants pay to have the products featured in magazines and then brag about the press coverage, never disclosing the coverage amounts to no more than a purchased ad. Defendants also pay for mentions on blogs and in other social media, using influencers, usually those influencers who identify as members of the curly hair community, and dedicate a significant portion of their content to hair repair, maintenance, routines, and other tutorials. I don't think we need to really discuss here on this channel what exactly influencing or affiliate marketing is, so we'll just skip over that part. But it does say that defendants do not disclose to consumers its financial relationship with the influencers or their control over the content of its sponsored influencers. Defendants do not require the influencers with whom they work to make such disclosures. They do go on to say in the filing that it is the FTC that has put these guidelines in place. It says when there exists a connection between the endorser and the seller of the advertised product that might materially affect the weight or credibility of the endorsement, such connection must be fully disclosed. It does also say that in addition to its social media promotions and influencer marketing, defendants offer a less than rigorous free online training course, after which a hairstylist can become Olaplex quote-unquote certified and begin using and of course selling the products. Defendants promote stylists who complete the training through a directory program found on the Olaplex website and by providing marketing material and strategy and stylist support services. So just make a mental note of this free online course that they offer, as we're going to come back to that in a little bit here. Let's move on to the effort to conceal dangers. Number 65 under that states that defendants' sharp practices have not stopped there. Defendants have also taken affirmative action to conceal the dangers of the products and in these efforts thwarted plaintiffs and others from discovering that they had suffered cognizable injuries caused by the defendants' wrongful conduct. It never occurred to the plaintiffs and other users that the products touted by the defendants as safe for all hair, free of a laundry list of harsh chemicals, and are scientifically formulated and proven to repair dry and damaged hair could actually be hurting their hair and scalp and not helping. I'm going to go ahead and admit that while I was reading through this lawsuit, I was wondering why the heck wouldn't they think like maybe it's the product, maybe that's what's causing all this damage. And they're going to doctors and things and nobody's asking about the products, like nobody's wondering if maybe that's the thing. So then as I'm reading more and more and seeing more and more about what is happening and seeing the actual pictures of the hair that has been affected, I'm like, holy shit, I have been having hair trouble and I was just attributing it to the color in the bleach, which I'm sure like that contributes for sure. But these people's hair look just like what mine does, which you can't see because my hair will be in braids until I can get it to grow back. And I'm pretty sure that Olaplex has contributed to some of this for me. And I'm one of those people that never was like, maybe it's the Olaplex, because their advertising is so strong. Knowing what I know now, I can understand why they wouldn't automatically think maybe it's the product. So I've never heard this before. In the lawsuit, they state that the defendants, which again is Olaplex, have been dismissive of their customers' hair loss, instead describing hair shedding as normal and unavoidable and attributing the hair loss to a long list of other potential causes. This sounds very much like Monat, like identical. They are constantly saying like, oh, that's the shedding process, you're not losing hair and things like that. The similarities between Olaplex's lawsuit and Monat's lawsuits are uncanny. Something else that kind of raised the flag was the fact that they are now offering full refunds for products with no questions asked. In the filing, it states that Olaplex usually accepts returns and issues refunds for products under certain limited parameters. However, after concerns about the safety and efficacy of the products became public, Olaplex has allowed customers to return products, no questions asked, for a full refund without regard to the date of the purchase and the amount of the product left in the return bottles. In doing so, Olaplex hopes to appease injured customers and sweep under the rug the dangers presented by the products. This single purpose is made all the more clear by what Olaplex has not done. It has not recalled the products from retailers and other third-party distributors. It has not destroyed or required retailers and other third-party distributors to destroy the products. And it has not reported the many complaints it has received concerning the products to the FDA or any other regulatory body. So I think this raises a flag for me, because when you see a company all of a sudden going back on their return policy, like, oh, now we're gonna take returns and refund you fully with no questions asked, it gives me a sense of them not being confident enough in saying that their products are safe to use for everybody and trying to, like they said, sweep it under the rug so that it doesn't become this big public thing. But guess what? It's too late. It's kind of public. I've seen it everywhere over the weekend and the past few days. So then they show the pictures of the plaintiffs and the before and afters. This goes back to the before and after thing that I went over for Monat and for Optavia. I don't know if I trust these pictures, and I will show them. I'm not going to show their faces because there's no reason for that. In the first one, it shows her head on. She's taking a selfie in a mirror and we can't see the back of her head. But in the after picture where we're supposed to be seeing the damage, which I can see it looks thin, it's the back of her head and it's like parted at the colic. So, like, obviously with yourself, it's hard to see. So if you've ever experienced, like maybe you have a child with a really bad colic, or you are a hairstylist and you've done somebody's hair with a really bad colic, this isn't out of the ordinary to see. That's the first thing. The second set of pictures, the before picture for both of them, is their hair beautifully styled, blow dried, and looking good. Now the second picture for the blonde woman, her hair is in a scrunchie and we don't know what it looked like before. Like, we would have to see her hair in a scrunchie in the exact angle to see if there was any hair loss. Like this, it's the total opposite side of her head. We don't know. The second picture, I mean, you have to know. When you're going into a lawsuit like this, there has to be questions. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I've never worked in a court, But these pictures are questionable to me. And again, it's not because I'm on Olaplex's side. I'm not using those products ever again anymore with the state my hair is in. But yeah, her hair is sectioned off. So it's all just the bottom of her hair. And it looks thinner on the bottom, but it's not blow dried. It's not styled. So we don't know what her hair looked like before unstyled and just air dried. It could have been the same. And then the same with the last two pictures. They're head on, hair is styled, and then we're looking at the back of their head, but we don't know what it looked like before. Was there a thinning spot on the bottom before? That potentially could also be like a birthmark. I've seen a lot of birthmarks that look like that. And again, I'm not victim shaming or victim blaming, but these pictures, they are not giving us the full picture, if you get what I'm saying. I just feel like you can't really use those photos. I don't know if they're gonna help the case or not. That's just my opinion. Again, if you are one of these victims, I am not shaming or blaming you. I just don't always trust before and after pictures historically anywhere. So I don't know if that's going to help the case or not. They also state that these symptoms do not occur in a vacuum. Injuries to a person's sense of self, confidence, and well-being impact every aspect of their lives and the dynamics of every relationship. Plaintiffs have struggled in their relationships with friends, partners, children, and at work. In some cases, plaintiffs have lost income due to an inability to work and from loss of opportunities to advance their careers, which requires relationship building. Now, this sounds extreme, but from experience, like my hair was down to the middle of my back before everything happened, which I'll give a little background in a few minutes. But I can say with having to cut my hair so short, it does take a toll on you mentally as a woman, because it is like a lot of us, our hair is our identity. The way we do our makeup is our identity. So to lose that or to have it compromised in some way can be really hard for somebody. So I can understand what they mean by that. Now they do go through each of the plaintiffs and what their symptoms were, what happened, what products they used, when they were using them, and things of that nature. There's just a few things that I'm going to point out. I'm not going to mention their names. They're in the lawsuit, but I personally don't want to mention them on my channel. One of the plaintiffs states that her hairstylist refused to see clients unless they were using Olaplex. So they included the hairstylist as well as the salon in the filing, so I looked them up, and I don't know if that's true. The reason I say that is because the salon does not only carry Olaplex, they also carry Paul Mitchell and some other products, and I can't see them turning a client away because they're not using Olaplex. The thing that I'm thinking may have been misconstrued as not seeing clients unless they use Olaplex is that their back bar is stocked with Olaplex. So they probably are using the Olaplex shampoo, conditioner, treatments, and all of those, but I've never seen a stylist say like, I have to use this on you. When I was working in the salon, I've even had clients bring their own products in, which isn't ideal, but I never said, no, I'm not using that. That was their preference. They're paying my bills, so I'm not gonna be like, no, I can't see you. You're not my client anymore. So I find that a little strange. One of the plaintiffs stated that she bought her products at CVS. Please don't ever buy your professional products at a drugstore or a grocery store. First off, you're likely going to be paying more than you would if you went to a salon, or if you are able to go to a beauty supply house. I recommend doing that. That is the most inexpensive way to obtain professional products. But when you're purchasing from a grocery store or a pharmacy or anything like that, when you're purchasing those professional products, if they don't have a contract with those stores, then they are likely getting them on the black market. It's a twisted little industry that the hair product industry is. So on a little tangent, I remember when I was working in the salon that I was working with, we worked with Wella products, and we had a distributor come in and he would tell us about the new products and get our orders and all of that. But he got fired because he was selling the Wella products to like the CVS's and things like that. With that said, they're not being regulated. So a lot of times they were finding like the professional products were being watered down and things like that. So you want to be really careful. Like that was just a side tangent, but just please be careful when you are purchasing products from a grocery store or a pharmacy. Sephora and Ulta are typically safe. That's all I'm going to touch on in the filing. That's really all there is for now. The rest is a bunch of legal jargon and things that we've already talked about. So I want to talk a little bit more about how Olaplex is supposed to be used and the free course that they offer. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to discuss was the free course that they offer. Apparently, I just registered as a professional, but they are going to take 24 to 48 hours to review my application, make sure my license is legit before they approve me. So I will have to do an update unless they do push it through before I put this video up. I'll add that in. But if not, I promise I will give you an update on what exactly that free course is and what it looks like. But you do have to be a licensed professional, licensed hairstylist to apply and take the free course. Now, with that said, you do not have to be a professional hairstylist in any way to purchase Olaplex. You can purchase it from Sephora, Ulta, from Olaplex directly, from salons that you can just walk into and purchase products. You can purchase it from a number of different places, and you are not going to get directions on how to use it. You are going to follow the directions on the bottle, correct? So apparently you're not supposed to use Olaplex every day, is what the word on the street is. You're supposed to use it 1 to 2 times a month, and that is what the certified stylists are advising people at this point. When I saw those comments that you're supposed to only be using it 1 to 2 times a month, I ran and got my bottle. Nowhere on the number 5 bottle does it say not intended for daily use. Nowhere. It says apply Olaplex number 5 bond maintenance conditioner and leave on 3 minutes, then rinse. It doesn't say anything about not using it every day. Now, I do have the number 8 Bond Intense Moisture Mask, and that one does say on it to apply to clean, damp hair, mid-length to ends, use sparingly on the roots, work through with fingers, leave on for 10 minutes, rinse fully, and style as usual. Use weekly for best result. So this is the only one that I have currently. That on the label, it states not to use it every day. Now, these people that are now commenting on like TikTok videos that you're only supposed to use it 1 to 2 times a month, they are stating that it's on the package. Nowhere on the package does it say that. And on the website, for number 4, it says where? Concentrate on roots. When? Formulated for daily or every wash use. It does not say not to use it every day, because you could use it every day for all hair types and textures. So then you go to number 5, bond maintenance conditioner. Now, these are the 2 things that people are going to use the most, right? They're going to be using it either every day, every other day, however many times you wash your hair. This also says where? Focus on the ends and distribute evenly. Formulated for daily / every wash use for all hair types. Number 3, which is the hair perfector, says it repairs and strengthens all hair types. Tells you how to use it, and then it says when to use. Use number 3 hair perfector once a week or up to 3 times per week for very damaged hair. Who is it for? All hair types and conditions can benefit from number 3 hair perfector, especially those with visible damage. It does not say use once or twice a month. It does not say to only use on damaged hair, because that's another thing they're saying is it's only for damaged hair. If your hair is not damaged, don't use it. The number 0 is used in conjunction with number 3. So they say the same thing with this one is used once a week or 2 to 3 times a week for damaged hair. And again, for all hair type, not just damaged, for all hair type. The 4C shampoo is the clarifying shampoo. So that is definitely not something you want to use every day. They do say that you are only supposed to use this once a week in place of your regular shampoo. The clarifying shampoo for all hair types and all hair textures. 4P is their blonde shampoo, so it has a little bit of a purple tinge to it. Use this 2 to 3 times per week or as often as needed to neutralize unwanted brassiness for all blonde, lightened, and gray hair. Number 6 is the leave-in styling treatment. I used this for a really long time, but I ran out recently. Thank goodness. I won't be purchasing again. So you put this from mid-length to ends. When do you use this? When? 1 to 2 times a month? No. Apply to wet hair and air dry for lived-in texture. Apply sparingly to dry hair to tame frizz and flyaways. So anytime your hair is wet, they're saying it's okay to use this for all hair types. Number 7, the oil. I still have a little less than half a bottle. Like, this is the one thing that I've been using consistently. Like, the shampoo and conditioner I'll switch out every now and then, but the oil I've been using every day for like 3 or 4 years. How? Just a few drops restores your hair appearance and texture. When? Can be used daily on wet or dry hair or before styling with heat. So like, say you're just touching up your hair, you're going out but you didn't wash it, you just have to touch it up. You, according to Olaplex, you can put that on your hair. For all hair types. For all hair types, not just damaged, all. Number 8 is, that's what I have here, the Bond Intense Moisture Mask. Used weekly for best results, so we already went over that, but it is for all hair types again. And this one has the sodium benzoate and citric acid as well as the conditioner, the number 5. So that's terrifying. And then last but not least, we have the number 9 Bond Protector Nourishing Hair Serum. I have used this as well. I've used every single one of these products except for the blonde one, apparently. I don't have blonde hair. So this is used for styling, and it says that you can use it on days you wash your hair and any days in between for added protection, not 1 to 2 times a month, for all hair types and texture. Let's check the new one. So they do have the number 4D, and that is the dry shampoo that they just came out with. This also says it's for all hair types and it's for use between wash days. So whenever you don't wash your hair, you can use this. It's safe to use. Now, this is so new that we don't know if this will contribute to any damage, but at this point I'm not trusting it. I feel like I'm breaking up with a boyfriend. Like, I really thought I liked it. So now that we know that there is no indication on Olaplex's labels nor on their website that you should only be using this 1 to 2 times a month, you can't go out and shame the people who are having hair damage. I've seen on TikTok, these people are getting shamed for posting like their hair damage stories from Olaplex, and people are coming into the comments and saying like, you're only supposed to be using it 1 to 2 times a month. Read the directions. You're not supposed to use it every day. Nowhere, anywhere does it say that. The only people who are advising this are hairstylists when they are selling the products. If that's the case, if that is the only way that this information is going to be delivered to the consumer, then it should not be available anywhere else except at a salon. And I don't even know if it should be sold to consumers. I don't think it should be directly sold to consumers if that is what is causing the damage, if you're not supposed to use it every day. In my opinion, I think the whole system should be an in-salon treatment only if this is truly the reason that people's hair is getting so damaged. Now, Olaplex also did post all of their testing results. I went through all of these results and they span anywhere from 2014 to 2022. In my opinion, again, because opinions are like, we all have one. So Olaplex did go ahead and put all of their third-party testing results on their website, which are linked in the description below, along with everything else that I have referenced. I looked over them, not too in depth, but I kind of skimmed through them really quick. They span from 2014 to 2022. 2014 seems like a really long time ago. I feel like at least every 2 or 3 years that should have to be done, because how do we know that the formula wasn't changed from the last batch? So now to give you a little bit of my story and what happened to my hair. I know I briefly went over it in video a few videos back, just to give you an idea. So my hair used to be down almost to my butt. Like, it was down to the small of my back, and I loved it. Like going through hair school definitely damaged my hair. It's never gotten to the point that it's at now, to where it was breaking off or anything like that. But I did the whole 9. I did bleach baths. I did cutting. I did wild, crazy haircuts when I was in hair school. And it has never been in this bad of shape. Last year was doing some fun colors underneath my hair. I did blue, purple, orange, pink, all of the colors that you can think of. I had it in my hair. So I was bleaching. I almost always color my own hair. I've never had an issue with severe breakage when I was using bleach. I didn't change the bleach that I have been using. I've always used Wello Blondor. It's my favorite bleach ever. Nothing compares to it. So that's the bleach that I was using, and I was using it with a low developer. If you're not familiar with hair coloring, you have different strengths of developer. The higher the lift, you typically use a higher developer, but I never wanted to damage my hair. So I was always using like a 10 developer and mixing it with my Blondor and just like bleaching the underneath of my hair on the roots. It was the fall of 2020 when I was like, I don't know, I think I bleached it too much. So I cut it. I cut it like to my collarbone right here, and it looked good, but it kept breaking. And at this point, I had been using Olaplex for probably 6 months straight. That's probably the longest stretch that I've used all Olaplex, exclusively Olaplex products at one time. That's probably the longest stretch. So last month, I think it was, I realized that like the sides of my hair, they're only down to right here. Like from here to here. I'll have to like take a picture of it when it's not in these braids. I have so much gel in these braids, so my hair's not like everywhere. But yeah, like this whole section right here is just to right here. And then the whole, like, not all of where I was coloring it, but just the very bottom is super short from breaking off. And my hair also used to grow really fast. So I never really had to worry about like hair breakage because it would go away pretty quick. So for me, like, I know I'm getting older, I'm in my mid-30s. That's great. We don't have to rub that in. For me to have my hair break off this much was not, it was way out of the ordinary. Like, I've been coloring and bleaching my hair for years, and it's not obviously the same hair. My hair grows. It's different hair over the years. So I don't know, after seeing like the pictures that I've been seeing, which I'll show as I'm talking, after seeing the pictures that I've been seeing, I really I think that the bleach has contributed to my hair damage. But now that I know what has been going on with Olaplex, and I'm not like in that cult mentality of no, like Olaplex is the best, you can't tell me any different, I'm realizing that maybe the Olaplex is what caused this, and I'm switching back to, I used to use Biolage before Olaplex came out, and my hair was always great. Not to brag. Maybe because I always had good hair, like this is my karma. It really sucks. Like, I started crying when I was talking to a friend of mine the other day because I was just like, I don't feel good. I want my hair back. Should I just buy a wig? Like, it does take a mental toll on you. So I personally will not be using Olaplex products anymore. I am sorry. I apologize for recommending them in a previous video. Please do not use Olaplex. Also, if you're not subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is the best way to support me and my channel and help me keep creating videos and content for you guys. I love doing this. So I would really appreciate it if you could hit subscribe, hit the like button, because that is also super helpful. And then go check out this video because I think you're gonna like it, and I will see you over there.